Hello, my stamping friends. Patty Edwards here with Why Stamp with Patty. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Omaha, Nebraska. And today I am going to, even though it's August 2nd, 2026, um, last month I have been doing a Christmas in July series. And I have one more Christmas bundle that was released in July with the online exclusives. And it's called Pretty Poinsettia. It is amazing. And I don't know why I waited so long to play with this, but I finally did this week. And I came up with a really fun card. At least I think it is. And I cut out um, the flowers and the leaves with the Velveteen paper. And the Velveteen paper that is in our current catalog, it goes to the end of August, has this pretty velveteen paper. It's in the Peaceful Pine, which is one of our in colors. It has this pink. Let me see, I'm going to switch those around so you can see that better. Bubble bath, and then it has white. So today I'm going to use the white and the Peaceful Pine to cut out the poinsettias. But I did want to show you, I kind of played around with it a little bit. And like this is one of the poinsettias that I cut out of just regular paper. And then I used a blender brush to add some color. Aren't those just gorgeous flowers? Now the leaves are done in the Velveteen. And I did a couple of them in the Peaceful Pine, but then I cut some out in white Velveteen, and then I used the blending brush to add some color to it. So you can really get some different variations of color when you do that. And then this one I cut out from the bubble bath, and I used the Barely Blush Stampin' Blend, and just kind of with the blunt edge, I traced the lines to give it some more depth. And then I also added some more color with the blending brush. And I mean, there's just so many things that you can do with these flowers. So, of course, I'm in love with everything that I ever buy. All right, so let's take a look at the stamp set. It has some sentiments. It has a poinsettia that you can stamp, some little accent flowers. There's some pine foliage and a couple of leaves, and then a center here for the poinsettia, and then this little accent piece. And then it has coordinating dies, of course, so you'll see that when you look at the stamp set, there is the poinsettia, and it has a die to cut that out. It has two leaves, one's a little bit larger than the other, and you have a die to cut each one of those out. And again, these little pine boughs that you can cut out, they're a little different. They're not the same. And there is a die to cut out the center for the poinsettia, or you can stamp it directly into the center. There's two of these dies that cut out a center for the large poinsettia and the small poinsettia. So these are just dies. These are like little accent leaves that you can add. I didn't use those. I just cut out one each of the bigger poinsettia, and then this leaf that's on a stem there. So those are our dies that go with this bundle, and you can find them they're under the online exclusives. And so today we're going to make this card, and you can see that I cut that out with the white Velveteen, and then the leaves are cut out with the peaceful pine. And I added some of our in color dots, which they have been on back order, but good news, they are back along with the butterflies and some of those in color ribbons. So lots of things came back this week, so I was really excited. I'm also going to be using this softly woven 3D embossing folder. Now, this you will not find yet online in the store because it's going to be released in our new September to December catalog. But that's one of the nice things about being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. We get to purchase things early so that we can, you know, play with them and then give you ideas on how to use them. So, you know, if you ever decide that you want that little perk too, you can sign up and order things early too and find out, you know, information early. That's really fun. But this catalog will be coming out in September. All right, let's get busy making our card. Let's get these things out of the way. And what we're going to need is some pieces of cherry cobbler and a little scrap of, I have Golden Glow there for that center of that poinsettia. But I'm going to use a half a sheet of the cherry cobbler, and we're going to score that in the middle at 4 1/4. So this measures 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and then scored at 4 1/4. And then I have another piece here that is cut down 1/4 of an inch smaller than what our card front will be. So it's 4 by 5 1/4. So what we're going to do is go ahead and, well, where did my bone folder go? Oh boy. There's always got to be something that I can't find when I'm doing this. But I want to fold this in half along the crease line. And just, people ask me sometimes, should you fold it on the part that's coming up or the part that's indented? So you should fold it away from the part that's indented because it'll make a nicer crease. So of course I can't find my bone folder right now. So I'm just going to take my block and run that through there. So that can work too. All right, so that's our card base. And then, like I said, this piece is going to be 1/4 of an inch smaller, so 4 by 5 1/4. And this is the piece that I am going to run through using this softly woven 3D embossing folder. And oh my gosh, this folder is my new favorite. So excited about it, and you're gonna want to get it because I think it'll be very very popular. And when things are popular, they might, you know, not be around. They might go on back order, you know, so you want to order them as soon as possible if there's things that you really love. So you can see I ran that through, and we're just going to take some of our liquid glue or whatever, let's see, which way do I want to put this? Let me go this way. Whichever adhesive that you love. And I'm going to put this on just a smidgen thicker than I normally do because it is embossed, and I want that to stick down good. Make sure I'm putting that on the right way. So this is just the same color on the front, but it is, you know, textured, and then you just have that little frame around there. Now, the next thing we would do is cut our pieces of the Velveteen, and I have 2 of them here that I'm going to cut the flowers out of. And I'm always really conservative when I, you know, am cutting my pieces. So my measurements are usually, just so you can get the right amount out. I mean, I give you plenty of room, but like this, I'm going to take these flowers. I'm going to make sure I put this on here the right way. That's got to go that way. And then this largest one is going to go second. And then I have this medium one. That's going to go down here. And then I can put my little small one in there. I'm going to run that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Same thing with this die that cuts out all these leaves on a stem. And for this card, I am not going to need the stem, so I didn't cut another 1/4 of an inch off because I actually am going to separate some of these leaves, so I didn't need that stem on the bottom. So we're going to cut that, and then we get these beautiful, nice petals, that have that impression. Let's see if I can, there we go. The Velveteen just really brings out that, the impression of the veins of the leaves and the flowers. All right, so I have two. It's going to be my smaller flower, and then there's two bigger ones. And I'm going to just kind of stack both of these on top of each other. And I just kind of turn it until I like it. I don't, know for sure exactly how that goes, but there's space for leaves. So the other thing, let me get this out of the way so that's not there. We want to cut out the centers for the flower. And I just used a little scrap of Golden Glow that I had in my little scrap pile, and I cut out one of the dies. Like I said, there's two of them that look like this, but it has a smaller one and a larger one. So that is for that. And now we want to put these together and add some leaves. So I am going to separate these leaves. I'm going to take my paper snips and just cut off these top three leaves, and I'm going to look at my little flower here, my poinsettia, and decide if those will go together nicely like that. But I think I want this leaf to come over here. So I'm going to go ahead and separate this large one from there also. So it kind of just, depends how you want that all to look. I just kind of play with it until I like the arrangement. And then we'll put this other one right there. And if you know me, I can play around with arranging things forever and a day. So here we go. I think this is the way I'm going to like it. Okay. Once I have that arranged how I like it, then I'm going to add some dimensionals to help hold that together. And I have a strip here that I need to finish up. So first, I'm going to just put one in between, because I do want a little height difference in my flower. So I'm putting one in the middle. And then I'm going to add another one where I'm going to put a leaf. And that way I can attach these as I go along. see the dimensional. Okay, and then I'm going to put these two so they're kind of peeking out over like this in between these two petals, just kind of in the back of that. So I can turn this over and I'm going to place a dimensional just to hold that in place now. So that flower's ready. We're going to do the same thing with this smaller one. Find out where we want the petals of the flowers to be. And then I'm going to take this leftover piece, and I think this time, since this is smaller, I don't want a big dimensional behind there. I'm going to take a glue dot and have that hold in place with that right now. And I'm going to separate these leaves. I'm going to separate them all together. They're not going to be attached anymore. And I'm just going to put a glue dot on that very tip of those. And then I can add the flower. Glue dots are great for, they kind of resist a little bit the velveteen, but eventually they will stick. And they stick much better when you're not on camera. Okay, it wants to stick to me. So what we're going to do, I want this one. We'll do the opposite because it'll stick to the back because it doesn't have that fuzzy texture. So I want this one to there, and then let's see. And I love my pick tool. Sometimes if I'm picking up, if I have to pick up a dimensional or a glue dot and place it somewhere, it works great to help me do that. Okay, so this time, all right, so when I put these on my card, I want the leaves to be kind of on opposite ends. And so do I like that? I think I actually want to move this one to over here because I do want, when they're laying there, they'll be like that. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now we're going to bring our card base back in, and I have a piece of basic white cardstock that measures 2.5 by 3, and this is going to be for my outside sentiment, and I have chosen Christmas Joy, and I'm going to take my piece of pine ink and I'm going to go ahead and stamp that onto this piece of paper. Try to get it centered. And while I have this ink pad out, I'm going to stamp my inside sentiment at the same time. So I have a piece of basic white that again is cut down 1/4 of an inch smaller than my card base, so it's 4 by 5 1/4. And this time I'm going to stamp "'Tis the Season." Now I picked these two because they have that open, one of the words has the open font, and I'm going to take my cherry cobbler Stamp and Blend, and I'm going to take the bullet tip. So that's the one that is, more firm, and I'm just going to fill in the inside of the words on the outside of our card and the inside. So we're just going to color that in. And you could do it with the paintbrush edge also, but you just want to be really careful to not get close to the edge. I always tell people just to, touch lightly. You really don't have to press very hard when you're coloring with your Stampin' Blends. So that's the outside, and then I'm going to do the same thing to the word season. That's going to go on the inside of my card. And it has cute little dots, just little on the end. I'm just going to barely touch where they have that opening on the S and the A. I think the E has one too, but there we go. So that just, brings that color together. All right. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is I want to put this on the outside of my card. And I also have another piece of Velveteen that I want to layer this on. And I could have used cardstock, but I wanted it to match up. So you'll notice that I don't, have this going off the top edge. Just made it 1/4 of an inch bigger on the side and on the bottom, because our flowers are going to be up here and that's going to cover that up. So I didn't need a large piece. And it was kind of funny when I was making this original card, this white piece was actually something I had cut something out of, and it was laying on the top of the Velveteen, and I thought, oh, maybe I should try putting the flowers on there. It's kind of funny how some things just kind of happen as you're working, and designing a card. I call those little happy accidents. And so you would never know that the top of this is all jaggedy because I cut something out of it, but you can't see it because the flowers are there. So we're just going to put this on top of that, and then I'm going to take this, and it's not quite centered. Let me do that again. Head it over just a smidgen to the right or on the left. That looks better. All right, I'm going to turn this over, and again, I'm going to add some more dimensionals because I want to pop up the sentiment. And you can just kind of I just want to put one in the corner, but depending on how big the piece is, like I think we need one in the middle. And there we go. And I'm going to take my pick tool, this amazing, versatile little tool that helps me in so many ways. All right, so now I'm going to put this on my card, and I'm going to make kind of an even border on the side and the bottom. So I'm attaching that, and then we're ready to add our poinsettias. And I'm going to put this one first, and I have the green leaves going upward, and now I kind of look and see. I am probably going to have to put a single one and on some of them and a double on a few of them, just to kind of get them to lay properly. I think that's good. This one, I think, has a dimensional underneath there. So I need, let's take a look at how that lays. I think this one needs one dimensional to hold that in place. And I'm going to go ahead and take the backs off. Okay, now we're ready for our smaller flower. And I think one of my leaves fell off, so let's see where we're going to put that. So I think I'm just going to take a dimensional now and put it on the back, take it off, and I'm going to attach my leaf, to the dimensional. And then I'll figure out where I want to place that. That looks pretty good. And we can decide where we need to add dimensionals. So we're going to need one behind here. And probably underneath the leaf. That should probably be enough to hold that all in place. Right. And now we're ready for the centers that I have here, and I just attached those to a glue dot after I cut them out. That way I can keep track of them. And you know, you can kind of see the dimensional that I put behind there, but now when I put this on, that's going to hide that. And we're going to put the smaller one on the smaller poinsettia. And now I can go ahead and add my insert here, and I could just have the greeting, but I did add, I had a piece of this embossed cardstock that was just laying around, and that I had trimmed off of another project, and I thought that looked nice on the bottom. But then I wanted to see what the stamped image of the poinsettia looked like. So I can show you that today. Let me get let's just add a little more to our, there it is. I'm just going to take, and let's see, I should put should have a little piece of paper or something so I don't stamp directly on my table. So we're going to go off the edge. That always looks nice. I'm going to take some cherry cobbler, and we're going to ink up this poinsettia. And go ahead and just add one over to the side. Isn't that pretty? The stamps so nice. And I'm going to add one more up here. And then I can kind of show you how this little stamp that you can either cut out or just stamp it directly onto your poinsettia. That's what I'm going to do today because it's on the inside of my card. And then, of course, we have, so we could do it just like that, or we can add a few leaves in the peaceful pine. Let's go ahead and do that. You know, it's kind of fun to decorate the inside of your card too. So I'm going to add a leaf going off the edge there. And then maybe another one coming down this direction. And then we'll have one going off the edge here. And then we need one probably going upward. That looks good. And I like odd numbers, so maybe we'll add another one down here. And what do you think? That's probably enough. And now, this is another reason that you could cover things up. I am excited, you know, because you've seen me take a sanding block, you know, when you get a little smudge on your card. In the new catalog that's coming out in September, they actually are going to have some sanding blocks that you can purchase, so that's awesome. But, you know, there's other ways to cover up stuff. So I am going to take this little piece that I had left over from another card, and I'm just going to add that to the bottom there, and that will take care of that little smudge. Nobody will ever know that it's there. And then I can turn this over and just cut the excess off. And we're going to put some glue on the back of that. And add, oops, gotta make sure my card's going the right way. Add this to the inside. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, those colors are just so striking, I think. And, you know, gonna have a really nice inside and a nice outside, but of course we need a little pizza resistance to decorate and add that little bling to our card. So I am going to take some of our 2026-28 in color dots, and these are, you know, our new in colors. So since I used Peaceful Pine, and I also used the Golden Glow, I am going to go ahead and put a large Golden Glow in the center of my poinsettia and a small one on the small poinsettia. And then I'm going to add a couple more just to the sentiment too. So then we'll have, if I do 3 on the sentiment and 2 on the flowers, we'll have an odd number, which I usually like to do. And then when I put something on my sentiment, I kind of like to form a triangle so your eye will follow. So we're going to put that one right there. And it's always amazing to me when you add that little bling. It is really the pizza resistance. It just really adds to your card. So that is our pretty poinsettia bundle. So pretty, pretty, pretty. That's it for today. So that was the outside. There's the inside. And I hope you enjoyed that. Now, if you're not part of my newsletter, I did put a link in the description that you can join my newsletter, because I am going to be sending information about new things that are coming out. And this Tuesday, the new product of the month will be coming out, and it's really pretty designer series paper that's specialty. It has like a pearlized finish to it. It's kind of fall theme. And there'll be some new kits. There'll also be, if you're a demonstrator, some pre-order for some new foiling, hot foiling products. So I'm excited about that. And I'm also going to do another product-based class to go. And it's using, I was waiting for this paper. I'll show you a little bit of it. This kit, you're going to get a half a pack of the scenic scene beautiful paper and some of the sunset, I think these are called sunset sparkle sequence dye, whole package. Going to get a package of the linen thread, and you're going to get half a package of these foam adhesive strips, because 2 of the cards need those. And then I have the things cut, the cardstock cut, the bases and everything. It's 4 cards. Let me give you a little preview of that. Look at this paper. It's so gorgeous. Now, this card looks very plain on the outside except for this gorgeous paper, but then it has a pop-up thing. And this one, and there's this one, and I finally made one of these, so where you have the panels that pop up. Anyway, that's going to be in my newsletter, and be watching for that. Going to be offering that this next week, and that way you just stay informed on what's going on. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.